Now at 5, stunning news out of New York City. A grand jury indicts former President Donald Trump, making him the first former president in history to face a criminal charge.
Mark Ridley Thomas has been found guilty on federal bribery and conspiracy charges. The once powerful LA City councilman now facing years behind bars.
And let's go Dodgers. It is opening day for Major League Baseball. We're live at Chavez Ravine ahead of the first pitch. The news at 5 starts right now. Good evening. Happy Thursday. You're watching the news at 5. I'm Courtney Friel.
And I'm Mary Beth McDade. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday evening. Sharon Pedro had the night off. And we begin with some breaking news out of New York. Donald Trump has become the first former president in U.S. history to face a criminal charge.
That's right. A grand jury voted to indict Trump in connection to that hush money payment that was made to an adult film star who claimed she had an affair with the former president years ago. Ktla Dt.'s John Panolio joins us live from our news center with reaction to this historic development. Hi, John.
Court MB, the precise charges the former president is facing may not be known for days, but we do know they would be connected to that $130,000 paid to adult film star Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about an alleged affair she had with Mr. Trump. The former president has vehemently denied having an affair with Daniels and has denied ever paying her hush money. But Trump's former lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, testified that he paid Daniels that money and that Trump reimbursed him, but under the guise of retaining legal representation. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's investigators were looking into whether Trump falsified business records to reimburse Cohen and whether those payments constituted campaign finance violations. Trump has threatened a, quote, war if he is indicted, and he's called on his followers to protest. This indictment comes as Trump seeks another term in the White House. He's currently leading in most polls among Republicans, but Trump is facing additional investigations. A special counsel is looking into his handling of classified materials at Mar-a-Lago, his Florida home. The former president is also the focus of an investigation into his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. As for this case, Mr. Trump will likely be treated just like anyone else who has been indicted, but clearly with a great deal more attention and care. Trump has not been found guilty of a crime. The indictment means he's being charged with at least one crime, and after an arrest, a trial could come later. Now, moments ago, the former president issued a lengthy statement saying in part, quote, the Democrats have lied, cheated, and stolen in their obsession with trying to get Trump, but now they've done the unthinkable, indicting a completely innocent person in an act of blatant election interference. KTLA legal analyst Allison Treasel explains what may happen next.
It is obviously a very unique situation because many defendants walk in handcuffed. There won't be escorted by so much security and police presence. Here it will be quite different, but he will go to court. He will hear the charges read to him, and then he will enter a plea of not guilty.
Republican House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy reacted forcefully on Twitter saying, quote, here we go again, an outrageous abuse of power by a radical DA who lets violent criminals walk as he pursues political vengeance against President Trump. McCarthy also promised investigations into the indictment. And Burbank Congressman Adam Schiff also reacting, calling Mr. Trump's indictment, quote, unprecedented. In his tweet, Schiff wrote, a nation of laws must hold the rich and powerful accountable, even when they hold high office, especially when they do. To do otherwise is not democracy. And if you come back to us live, we should also mention that Mr. Trump is also being investigated by the district attorney in Atlanta for efforts to meddle in Georgia's 2020 presidential vote count. Of course, we'll have much more on this breaking news coming up later this evening. For now, sending it back to you in the studio.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens in that case. John, thank you so much. And back locally, Mark Ridley Thomas, for decades one of Los Angeles County's most eminent politicians, has been found guilty of federal corruption charges.
Ridley Thomas now faces a hefty prison sentence and the loss of his seat on the LA City Council. KT5's Sandra Mitchell is live for us outside of City Hall with more. Sandra?
Yeah, Mark Ridley Thomas already suspended from the LA City Council, and now he could face more than 100 years in federal prison after he was found guilty on these federal corruption charges.
Obviously, we understand that.
Just a few years ago, Mark Ridley Thomas was a powerful politician, a former LA County supervisor, LA City councilman, congressman, and senator. It now appears he is headed to federal prison, convicted today of conspiracy, bribery, mail, and wire fraud.
It really was a pretty simple case as a prosecutor. They just needed to collect all the evidence, email